everybody. Welcome to the HIT.OR.DIE podcast with your hosts, Jake Saldati and Chad Rothford. Happy New Year to you all. This is the first episode of 2022. And what better way to kick it off with no baseball talk?
Yeah. It's
pretty much.
Nothing. You had, oh my gosh. Showalter got hired. Hasn't been much else.
Hasn't been much.
A lot of speculation.
Yeah.
Who's going where, possibly. I saw a story. This is how searching they are about what Major League Baseball is going to do to help with climate change in the future for games. It's a story that came out today. Yeah, not a whole lot of baseball as far as Major League Baseball goes. We did put out a video to end the year, the top 5 episodes of 2021. Basically just took all the views, downloads, streams, and combined whatever had the most. And that was the top 5. I think it was Mark Gardner, Tanner Seguspie, Chris Herron, the Sorry We're Not Sorry, and then Barack Jones, which was a lot of fun. There was a lot. Did you have a favorite? Was your favorite in the top 5, or do you not have a favorite?
It's hard to pick favorites. You know me, because they're all good. I really liked Brock's because I had such.
Well, that was our first time meeting him, I guess.
Yeah, and I had such a different perception of him coaching against him, and which I told him. I was upfront with him. I thought something way different of the type of person he was
versus when he left
us, or I even told him after the thing, when he was leaving, I said, I wish nothing but the best for the guy. I really liked his, but they're all good. You learn new things about everybody. But that one just stands out because I wasn't expecting it that way.
There was a couple that were close. I was going to do a top 10, but there was some that were so close. It was for one, I was like, screw it. The top 5 were they separated themselves from others. But others that were close was episode 91 with Rob Walton, episode 102 with Alec Merton. Austin Young was episode 123, Ring Season, which was right after the section titles was in there. Episode 115, episode 93 with Dominic DePugian and Christian Funk was up there. One that didn't make the top 10, there's a couple, but that was I got a lot of really good feedback on was Rex Hudler's. People really enjoyed that one. Ben Fritz, Casey McGee's. There was a lot of good ones. Do you know how many episodes we did in 2021? You want to throw a number out? It was more than 2020. I think. I think it was 53 in 2020 or something like that.
Oh,
54.
Okay, then I was going to be way off.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say 32, but
no.
I'm going to say 83.
In
2021.
83? That's a lot. No.
Oh, well, you said 53. It was
50.
21.
It was more than 2020, but not by 30.
Oh.
It was 55.
55.
So good number. So thank you everybody that's stuck with the pod. We haven't done this in a month now. We haven't recorded. We put one out, but we didn't.
Yeah.
It's been 3 or 4 weeks, and that's just family and holidays. And I hope everybody had a great holiday and New Year. The Rothfords are welcoming in 2022 with some good news. You want to share?
Yes.
My good friend.
Sure. We are having another baby. A little girl. Another girl.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
I'm excited for you.
That makes one of us.
No, come on.
No, it just there's just a lot. 2021 was a lot, and if you can't tell by my reaction, it wasn't planned. It just happened. So But yeah, it's going to be another little blessing for our family.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
all I care about is a healthy baby, and I hope everything goes well with mom and stuff. So, yeah, we'll see. It's going to be a big year. I mean, the Rams are winning a state championship, and I'm going to have another little girl in the family. So,
and you're pursuing a degree. People don't know that as well. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes.
And the podcast. There's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going to be busy.
It's going to be busy. This year's going to be crazy. I'm not 2022. I mean, and we still got stupid COVID going on. I mean, it's going to be it's January 3rd, and I'm already like, holy schnacks.
Yeah, your work's cut out for you.
Yeah, so there might be some days where we go. I might not be on the podcast, guys. So, Jake might be soloing it sometimes this year. So
yeah, it'll be an interesting year. We'll figure that out. I'm not worried about that. But lots of other stuff going on.
what about you? Your big news.
I'll
say it. Jake's going into the Madera High Baseball Hall of Fame, and it is more than well deserved. 20 plus years with the program, and that's even with
playing
plus a 2-year hiatus.
Yeah. I felt weird about it. And initially when we talked about this,
Well, you didn't even. It was all Andy's idea.
But it was more so just bringing it back. We've been talking about bringing it back.
We talked about that when I was there.
Yeah, for a while, and we just never did it. I don't know why, for whatever reason. And I just thought it was initially like just joking, right? And then like it finally, like he just flat out said it, and I was like, oh well, because I always associate it like we're doing now with the MLB Hall of Fame as like playing career and
there's coaches that go in the Hall of Fame that didn't play or have a playing career.
For sure. I mean, I played at Madera High, but I'm talking about beyond that, right?
Yeah, but there's coaches that didn't,
So you think of what they did. Career, you just based it. That's easy to do. It's probably, that's normal, right? That's what a normal person would do.
I don't know. I know a school that doesn't do that.
Yeah, well.
Careers don't matter, I guess.
We're gonna we'll get back to that. Don't let me forget. And then like talking to him, talking to you, Coxie. There's people. They put it in terms where because it's kind of. I don't want to say embarrassed. I think embarrassed is the right word, but like not deserving. You know what I mean? Like just because you did something for a long time, it warrants.
Yeah, but nobody, player or coach, at Madera has put in that many years, I should say.
I mean, maybe at Madera Unified or at the high school, maybe. I mean, I know people around the community that have.
Yeah, they've been involved with
for years,
Babe Ruth, and all that kind of stuff.
And definitely, and people.
But this isn't the Babe Ruth Hall of Fame.
No,
this
I got
is
you.
Madera,
I got you.
High School Baseball Hall of Fame.
And when people put it in that way, like I told you, was somebody mentioned to me, like, so go back and, can you think of a player that played at Madera High that went on and did whatever they did, college or professionally, that ever came back and gave back to Madera High more than I did? And I was like, well, no.
Andy's the next one.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. Lappin maybe a little bit.
Well, nothing has lapped. Andy's the next one. He's been here, going to be 11, 12 years coaching, and then his playing career and his college and professional career, and that's still 10 plus behind you of the amount of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that's what I'm saying, that the time you've put into this program and community, it's more than deserving,
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's pretty cool now just thinking about it, and a lot of people reached out. It was pretty cool. It was a neat deal. I'm glad that he's bringing it back because there is a lot of people that deserve to be in. I think when Coach Zvork started doing it, it was people like Coach Escanio and Nick Leach, I believe, was one, the 96 team, and I want to say Ron Scott also. There was some people, Brian Clark. So, but there's the list is super long for Madera people and Madera players and that belong, also. So I'm glad that Andy's doing this. I think it's a great thing. And I appreciate him, recognizing, I guess my contribution to.
And that will be February 5th at the San Joaquin Wine Company in Madera. So if you guys want to get a ticket, and it's $50 a ticket. No, I'm serious. Support Jake and his. I have a doubleheader that day, but I still have. Hopefully, I can make it there after our second game because I have a little something planned myself.
No.
Yeah, no, Madera, it's a great dinner, great fundraiser. Trust me, you're actually doing a lot for these kids in Madera with this fundraiser, and the money all goes back to the program. It doesn't go to the coaches. It doesn't go to the other more stipends for the coaches at all. All this money goes back. So it's not like a Clovis school where you don't know where the money goes. It goes all back to the program, and everything they do is for the program, for this and the fundraiser. So if you want to go to a great dinner in Madera at a great wine company, with a live auction, silent auction, and it gets good in there, and they always have great food. It's normally some good barbecue.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's $50 a ticket. It's February 5th. So I suggest we get in there and fill it up and help recognize Jake for a tremendous career that ended with a ringer. Got a ring.
I know, man. And then the Braves win the World Series. It was, there was some spots in
Your 2021 was
no. I've lost some people close to me though that there was some parts of 2021 that were obviously difficult, but also a lot of very positive things too. Bullard. My guys.
Bullard's getting a new.
My guys do. That's all. My guy. You text me.
Stadium.
Chad.
Like it's gonna look like Fresno Highs.
Chad calls me.
Still no bathrooms or.
I posted that though. I retweeted your comment and you called me like, "Are you trying to stir shit up for me?" Yes, I am. But because I've told you how I feel about it, and I've told you a long time ago how I felt. Well, I've asked you numerous times why. The only answer you can give me is you don't know. It's not your thing. But it's due. People out there at Bullard. That's all. I'll leave it at that. I know you don't like that, but...
What's due?
You.
The stadium?
No, you. Hall of Fame. Due.
Hey, I'm just over here feeling like Barry Bonds. That's all.
Hey.
Just waiting my turn.
Well, it should
for
be...
something I never did, I guess.
It should be coming.
Yeah, never.
Since we've last recorded, the Dogs went on and won their bowl game against UTEP, which was great. Got a 10-win season. I saw you had Hainer start the game after all that controversy, and were able to hold off UTEP there and finish the game to get to 10 wins. I think there'll be some excitement going into 2022. I don't know if all's forgotten and all that stuff, but
I didn't forget.
I mean,
I don't think he should have started the game. You literally quit on your team and then apologize, which the apology wasn't even a sincere apology. It was because...
Well, I don't want to say that.
No, it wasn't. That's my opinion.
Okay, that's
my
fine.
opinion.
Yeah, that's fine.
It wasn't. The way it looked, it was not.
So you did not feel.
Apology. Which he didn't have to apologize in the first place. That's not... He didn't have to, but you did... And it wasn't sincere. It didn't come off sincere. It came off, staged, and you had to do it. But then, here's the team that's stuck with Fresno State, trying to get ready for a bowl game. And then here's a guy that quit on you, finds out he can't go to Washington. So he wants to come back, and then he's just giving his spot back. And I understand what he did at Fresno State was great. But when somebody quits on you, and then just comes back and it's just given to him. I thought that was, just don't start him in the first half then or something. There was no punishment for what he did. And people are like, oh, he's a 22-year-old kid. No, he's a grown-ass man. He's a grown-ass man making a decision about his future, which, like we said, we agree with the decision. I would have gone to Washington if those coaches were going, because I know that system. But we ultimately thought he should have waited till after the bowl game in the first place. The whole school thing was just a BS type of thing. That's not true. If you'll get into the school if you can get into the school. They're not going to be like, oh, we start January 3rd, whatever. That was my take on it, because now he threw for 286 yards and threw for over 4,000 yards. Now he's one of 3 guys in the history of the program to throw for 4,000 yards, and I don't feel like he earned that right after quitting on Fresno State.
You mean okay? I get what you're saying. He earned it.
He earned it because he went through the yards.
He did it,
but he quit.
You don't look at him as a top 3 though.
No,
that's what you're saying.
No, because he quit. Whether or not he came back or not, he quit on his team.
I mean, I guess it's not the same example. Obviously, it's not. But what happened yesterday? This is Monday, January 3rd, by the way. What happened yesterday with Antonio Brown leaving in the third quarter? I mean, it was clear at the end of the game. You know, Bruce Arians he's not a Buck. He is no longer a Buck.
Yeah, but Bruce Arians is a Buck. The Fresno State coaches that still stuck around, they all went to Washington.
Yeah.
So
I understand it's not the same situation. What I'm saying is that Antonio Brown is not going to get to change his mind about what happened yesterday.
No.
And he's not going to be welcomed back to that organization.
Not at least Tampa.
And so I guess ultimately is what was learned. What is it? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's not the way it's not condoned at the professional level.
No, but we're not teaching accountability. Whether you made a right decision or a bad decision or a quick decision or a long decision, you're not being held accountable for that decision. He shouldn't have made the decision he made to get in the portal right away, right? That's the big thing. But you did. That was the decision you and your family made. You should be held accountable for that. So I felt like he should have either sat out the bowl game or at least didn't start the bowl game and let the guys that have given their blood, sweat, and tears to the Bulldog and wanted to stay there and be a Bulldog, no matter the decision or the coaching move, at least through the bowl game, should have had the right to play and show what they can do. Now, I get it. You want to win 10 games, and it's hard to win 10 games in college football. I understand that. But there's no accountability.
Yeah, no, I get that. And you want to, those guys on the team that are playing their last game want to win as well. And what's best for those guys too. And we don't know what happened in the locker room. We don't know how it was all received beyond him pulling out of the portal. Like we don't know that stuff. And we never will, because that's a team thing, a locker room thing, as it should. So obviously, he played, they won.
Hey, but I'll tell you this with Trujillo. Is it Trujillo coming back from Memorial? So we have the transfer. If I got the name wrong, I apologize. He was a quarterback of Memorial. He went to San Jose State. He transferred back to Fresno State. It ain't Hayner's job. I mean, it might be Hayner's job right now to give up, but I tell you what, that kid's good. That kid's good. He broke a lot of records. I think he has all the passing records at Memorial. He was threw for over 11,000 yards in high school. It didn't work out at San Jose State for some reason. I mean, David Carr even tweeted that he should have been a Bulldog all along. It was Alec Trujillo or something. I apologize for the name, but he's coming back to Fresno State, and he's going to put up a fight, man. We might not see Hayner as the starting quarterback in 2022.
Well, and Tedford's the guy. So, I mean, he'll be number one to start. He'll be. I mean,
he's number one now. But when spring ball starts, that fight continues. And then some of the guys are staying. They got to transfer in from Cal receivers. So
yeah. It's a rough line.
Mims is staying, which we both think Mims is better.
I think he's great.
I think he's better than whoever the other guy was.
Rivers.
So. They're gonna have weapons. They're gonna be
lucky to
good.
have both those guys.
Heck yeah.
To be honest.
So,
and then Cropper's coming back,
which that was stupid. I thought, like, what's the point of saying I'm coming back? Like, no, you either go to the NFL and say you're leaving, or you don't need to say you're coming back. Like, I don't understand that. Nobody needs the reassurance. I just thought that was kind of just show. I'm coming back. Yeah, we know you're coming back. You're not going to the NFL. You're not good enough yet.
I mean, a lot of people thought so.
Yeah, a lot of people thought so, but then you put his numbers up. We put his numbers up. You put his size up. He needs to get bigger. He's small. He's small, and he's not like Tyreek Hill small, because Tyreek Hill is fast as shit. Deshaun Jackson is fast as shit. Right? I mean, they have a different motor. And I'm not saying Jalen Cropper's not good. Don't get me wrong. He is going to be an NFL receiver, but he's not ready.
Is it worth it to leave now and risk not being what you had anticipated being, I guess?
I don't know. What is he anticipated?
No, I mean, just the talk was he was going to be a decent high draft pick. We weren't, but all these people assume everything.
Yeah. Honestly, if he was going to be a high draft pick, he wouldn't be coming back.
No, I know that.
So, I mean, I don't buy that one bit. I think the mock drafts or whatever they look at, and he's not where he wants to be, so he's going to come back. That's the truth.
I mean, baseball players do that too.
I know.
I guess what you're saying is they don't announce it.
No baseball player does. Like, you don't see any of this stuff at college. Like, all this show that football players do is ridiculous. They do so much they want to be seen, and it's about me. And you don't see a lot of that from the college baseball players. Even the transfer portal stuff. A lot of people don't really post that they're going to new places or whatever,
You did send me a video of the code, the crack to the code to the transfer portal.
Oh, yeah. That was pretty funny.
I mean, we
should put it on here.
It was spot on.
I've cracked the code. If there's a quarterback in the transfer portal, just check where his girlfriend plays sports in college, and you'll find out where he's going. This is Adrian Martinez. He played for Nebraska. He's now going to Kansas State. Why? His girlfriend's on the soccer team. Keaton Slovis, pretty good quarterback, has NFL potential. He's leaving USC with Lincoln Riley coming in. Where's he going? He's going to Pitt. That's where his girlfriend plays soccer. Levi Williams randomly decides to leave Wyoming. Where's he going? Utah State. That's where his girlfriend plays volleyball. This is a tried and true method.
So it was just funny. It was like, follow the girlfriends to see where their boyfriends are going.
Which is, it's pretty funny. Back to just the Fresno State stuff. I mean, I get what you're saying with all of it too, and I don't disagree. I'm kind of over most of it now. It's not over, like just over talking about it.
Yeah.
Because as a fan, I want to win. I want our team to win. I want the Dogs to win. I would love to be in a Cincinnati's position. You know what I mean? So who are the best players to put on the field to do that? That's the hard part.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part to swallow sometimes. Whether you like some of the decisions or not, you want to win. We want our team to win, right? We want all this success and we want all this stuff. And I don't know. It's a difficult, I've been there as coach too, to play a guy that that probably shouldn't play or sit a guy that
we've been there.
So, the other part of college football was you had the playoffs New Year's Eve and Bama and Georgia, which you were disappointed about, will be playing again will be playing again, and this time for a national title. You were going for Michigan.
I was going for Michigan and Cincy.
Yeah, everybody loves the underdog. I didn't think Cincy had a chance, though.
They played better than Michigan played against Georgia, though.
Yeah, Michigan didn't show up. That was ugly. But I'm also I'm excited about a Georgia-Bama rematch.
Alabama, I mean, there's just no...
You're saying Bama's going to win?
Bama's going to win.
I'm going to pick Georgia.
Okay.
I think Georgia's going to win.
Georgia doesn't... Their quarterback's not good enough.
Maybe true. The other thing I saw is Kirk Herbstreit got roasted a little bit for saying, what do you say? Some players today, he seems they don't feel like they love the game enough. A better quote is, what did he say? I don't understand. If you don't make it to the playoff, how is it meaningless to play a football game and compete? Is what we do as football players. We compete. I don't know if changing or expanding the playoff is going to change anything. I really don't. I just think this era of player just doesn't love football. And he kind of corrected himself later. He apologized, basically saying he wanted to lump all players into that. But there is a good amount of players that he feels don't love football enough. Obviously, there's some that are.
Yeah, but it's not. It's just this era. It's this age. It's not just football. It's like everything's about money. Everything's about how can I get to the professional level? How can I make this much money? That wasn't the thought back in the day. Like, we didn't think about, how much money can I make? How is this? What can I do to get to there? It was like, no, I need to play in this game to get there. I need to do this. I need to work at it. Like, I feel like with all these opt-outs, it's it's damaging to the younger generation that it's okay to sit out a game. You can get injured in practice. You can get injured walking out on the street. You can get injured playing baseball. People are like, oh, well, football's so, yes, it is more physical and there are more opportunities to get hurt. But a pitcher can go out there and blow out his arm and have Tommy John. A runner could blow his ACL out or get hit by a pitch in the head and go blind or, have concussions or something. Anything can happen in any sport. I mean, look at the leg injuries from basketball that we've seen of just jumping in the air and landing. Anything can happen. And it's just like you go out and risk that every day. But it's like, so if you lose 2 games, like I was talking about the Pitt quarterback, Pickett or whatever, they already had 2 losses halfway through the year. Why do you finish the season out? They already weren't going to be in a bowl game or the playoff. So why'd he finish the season out? But he can't play one more game? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's where I have an issue is like some of these teams, like you are Iowa State, you have one of the top running backs in the country. You're already out of the playoff though, like halfway through the year, but you still finish your season out, but you won't play in the bowl game. Like who's giving them this information that's saying, you're going to get this amount of money. You're not even guaranteed that though. You don't know. They're all mock drafts and what could be and all this. You don't know who's getting picked where and what and how much money they're going to make. Like, and then people are mad like, oh, Matt Corral was the perfect example. He got hurt. He sprained his ankle. Now, did he get hurt? Yeah, he got hurt. But he also didn't want to quit on his teammates or tell his teammates that I'm more important than you are. I'm bigger than the team. And that's what needs to be talked about more is these guys are saying they're bigger than the team. They're bigger than the university. Their health is more important than anybody else's health. And that's what I have a problem with is because, no, you're not the only one that could win the ball game. The team wins the ball game. We're not playing tennis or golf. You're not bigger than the team. And that's where you're saying this to your teammates that you did 2-a-days with, summer, spring, all this ball, and you're saying for this one last game, you're bigger than them. And it's like, oh, but his future relies on the balance of
us winning. It is not as important.
Exactly.
I mean, it could be guys that you were on a recruiting trip with, that you decided to make the decision to come to this school with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I understand. Like after seeing the Lattimore injury and how that affected his professional career, but
he still got the NFL and made
he got
money.
An opportunity, yeah. And I mean, he also had that insurance policy on himself.
My buddy made a good point. My Notre Dame buddy, he said this: why don't we have the draft in December before the bowl games? Baseball does the draft, right after the regional, so they're drafting guys that could still get hurt. Why don't we do the football draft in the beginning of December for the next year? That way you're drafting guys and they can still go play.
I mean, I just feel like they should still play.
I do too, but I mean, if they're worried about the draft and getting drafted, how can we make this where these guys play? I mean, I don't know. You were saying something.
Well, no, the combine more one-on-one.
Can you not get hurt in the combine?
No, you can't.
Can Pickett not blow his arm out throwing balls
I'm saying
in the combine?
They're not going to have a combine during the season, and how much of that evaluation process that these people do takes place during the combine.
You know how many of these guys can go watch practices and have tape? The combine is just another way to make money.
Yes, I agree. I was going to say that. Yes.
They don't need the combine. The combine is for some guy that was like a 4-stringer that might go, but even then, it's an invite. The combine's an invite.
Yeah. I had a piece from after the Ole Miss Baylor game, the Sugar Bowl, where the quarterback got hurt. And it's a brief comment. I mean, Lane Kiffin didn't really want to get into it, but I wanted you to hear his comments about the loss. And then they followed it up with a question about, the quarterback. But here you go.
Again, congratulations to them. I'm not going to sit up here and say, talk about our miraculous season. We did some neat things, special things, some great memories, but we didn't finish it. And that's what we came here to do, not just to get a participation trophy. So, not real excited.
I mean, isn't that?
I love that.
That shouldn't even be like profound.
That's probably going to get more negative than positive.
I heard that. I'm thinking like, wow, I loved that. I agree with that 100%.
I want to play for that guy.
And I'm thinking like, nobody's going to go back. I have not seen that on the news. Like nobody's talking about that. Nobody has highlighted those comments.
No, because they want to talk about a guy being a hooligan. Antonio Brown, who wants to see Antonio Brown being a jackass? But yet,
spoil another
that's
opportunity.
all we're playing over and over again. Here's a guy gets the opportunity of a lifetime. Trade me job. I will go be Tom Brady's fifth. Tom Brady will hit me on passes that I need.
Not only that, like he.
You're on a team that could win a Super Bowl again.
We watched a bunch of stuff right before we started, and it was how this isn't normal behavior. That's the one thing I'm hearing everybody say, normal behavior. And they're right. It's not normal behavior. But basically what they're saying is that they asked him to go back out and play. He didn't feel healthy enough. He'd been battling an ankle injury. Said he wasn't good. And they asked him again. He said, no, I'm not healthy. And I guess they said that if you don't want to go back in there, get out. And he took his shit off, and that's what's being reported. I don't know if any of that's true or not. In the heat of the moment, you're getting your ass kicked by the Jets. I could see where the coaching staff's a little pissed. They're already shorthanded at receiver.
I think it's more that he's mad he's not getting his balls.
Yeah, and he made a rash
decision. Because we talked about that, or we heard that too. That
did 15 targets last week.
Yeah, and then they were, Tom Brady is going to throw to he needs to throw to. That's why he's Tom Brady.
In order to win.
And Gronkowski had the better matchup against the Jets, so he was throwing him. He still had 5 targets in the first half. I
think there was a lot of frustrations and a rash decision was made. Considering what you hear now about like the incentives that he was that close to getting, they said he equated
5 catches, 88 yards, and a touchdown it would have been equaled out to $1 million.
$1 million, and with another week to play, so he would have hit that.
Yeah.
I don't know,
but then people are like, "Oh, well, the money's not the issue." I know the money's not the issue, but obviously it is because everybody's sitting out because of money.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no, and so back to the Ole Miss thing.
Our first question will come from Dave Oven of the Athletic.
Lane, did you get a sense of what Matt's injury was? And do you know if he has VSDI or any other sort of insurance?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into Matt's insurance. He does. This does not appear to be that type of injury where that would ever be a factor. His X-ray was negative. He just wasn't able to go, so I don't think that that's a factor.
So the kid's not dumb. You have insurance on yourself. They also said that like he was adamant about playing this game. He wasn't going to sit out. Period. That it was a reward to be in a bowl game, and so he was, no matter what, he was playing. Now maybe because you saw him limping around on this or walking, maybe some tape, a little breather. But at that point, I understand shutting it down too.
I do too, and I agree with that. But look, he suited up and he went to play. He wasn't sitting in a booth, not even with his team,
after the
with
injury.
a headset on. No, even the guy that opted out was up in a booth, dude. You're not even with your team. Like, what's going on? Like, me. It's all about me, man. It's like, no, it's not fucking about you. Your team will be fine. They'll figure it out.
I don't know. And I always wonder too, like when you get to that next level, what is the perception? Like you're the captain of your team, right? Or the leader.
It's supposed to be.
And you get drafted and you're expected to come in and be a franchise guy. What veterans look at that decision as this dude, when it mattered most to his team, he did what's best for him. Do they look at it that way? I would love to talk to people that have been in that situation or in a locker room at the professional level. I would have loved to know what they're thinking, because that's what I would be thinking. Like, this dude, is he always going to make a decision on what's best for him? During a game, it's what's best for us. The coaches, we all make decisions on what's best for the team. I don't know. When it comes to your money and making deals, when it's time to make those deals, absolutely do what's best for you. But when it comes to actually playing the game and it's go time and crunch time and we're on a field, no, man, what's best for the team? That's like with the Antonio Brown stuff. We just don't really know what, and we probably won't know. I don't know unless he comes out and says something, or at least his side, which I don't know. But people are blaming mental health, and I think Shannon Sharp, who I tend to disagree with most of the time, mentioned, where was this talk back with the Raiders and the Patriots and
even the end of Steelers? Mental health. I don't know. You can only make up so many excuses.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just that's a rough way to end your career. I'm assuming, I don't know who else is going to continue to give him chances where he's at in his career playing wise, but yeah, that was an ugly look. I'd never seen nothing like it, and I'm sure a lot of people felt the same way. And again, going back to kids opting out, I love your comments on it. I think we can leave it at that. I mean, I just don't understand, like, you are there to compete. Like what Herb Street said is that's what you're there to do.
That's your job.
Like, you don't have that edge then? Like, you don't have that competitive edge?
I don't know. You talk to Jack Leiter, you think that he's sitting out the College World Series?
Well, and that's the thing. These guys could snap an elbow.
I know. You can get hurt in any sport. There could be freak accidents, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Baseball's just tough. They're tougher.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think baseball players are tougher?
Yeah.
Are you a little biased on that?
No, maybe they're just not as physically gifted as football players.
That's true. I think that's fair to say.
But, I mean, playing baseball, you have to be mentally tough. You know that.
Yeah.
Football, you big dum-dum running around hitting people and
physically gifted.
Physically gifted, by the way.
I mean, all sports require physical talent.
Yes, for sure. And I love football, but I honestly am getting tired. I can't even watch it anymore. Like, I'm honestly to the point where I can only watch college baseball. Because
It's the only thing you can watch sport-wise?
Those guys are playing their butts off to get to the next level. Nobody's opting out. Nobody's, taking a day off because they, need to get healthier. They're playing with injuries, and I just feel like you don't see the guys playing for the titles opting out. You saw the Alabama receiver.
Do you think expanding the playoff would fix some of these guys opting out?
I think it would fix some of it. I really do.
If you were an 8 seed playing with an opportunity to play for a national championship, would you see fewer guys opting out of their bowl games?
I think so.
I mean, some people don't think. I think that's what Herbie Street said. He doesn't know if that would fix anything. I mean, I think it would.
I think it would too. If you have a chance,
like you said, if you're 2 losses 5 weeks into the season, you're not playing for a national championship.
Not in the format we have now.
Not now.
So why finish your season?
So a 2-loss, I don't know, Utah, I'm sorry, might be playing for a national title.
Yeah. Pitt would have been playing for a national title.
You expand the playoff to whatever
12.
amount of teams, 12 teams, whatever you want to do, 8, 12. It doesn't, I'm just saying some of these guys may not opt out. And so if you wouldn't opt out for that, why opt out at all? And so when he says, do you really love to play? I mean, I think it's fair to question that. Why people get so shitty and upset and crybaby about it. You're just proving his point. You're not very tough. It's different. Yeah. I mean, it is. It's a different era of thinking. It's just a different time. And getting into that with, like you said, there's not a lot of baseball stuff going on, but there were some things that you and I talked about a little bit and some videos that we'd seen on YouTube, where it was just really bad baseball. And like the title of the video was like an elite, and listen, they were young.
They were 12 and 13-year-olds.
I think it was 13 and under. And just like,
but they were playing on a big field.
Out of the whole video, the only time of play that was taking place was like the last couple minutes. It was all hyped bullshit, like nothing that you could get out of it. And then you see them playing enough, and both teams, to be honest with you, it was bad.
It was bad. I mean, and one team had players from California to Florida.
It was awful.
It was bad baseball. The coach was supposedly a scout, which I don't see that.
I couldn't. Yeah, no.
There was, I think maybe they actually played the whole game on the video. It was just from out every at bat.
It was sped up.
It was sped up, but we got to see every single at bat, and there was maybe three ground balls.
I think I counted one ball that got squared up for a fly out. Everything else was flared to second base.
Yeah.
Maybe shallow right field. Just like just some of the decisions. I didn't see any coaching. Like I didn't see any fundamentals. I just didn't see certain things. I was like, oh, this is not elite. This video said like elite. Mm-hmm. It's nothing. And listen, to call a 13-year-old elite is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
That alone, just stop. Big leaguers are as elite as they get. So don't elite for 13-year-olds, I guess. I don't know.
They didn't look elite.
They didn't look elite. And it started bringing the question, at least to me, is like, I'm watching these kids swings and it's just everybody's pulling off and the bat head's back here and they're just catching it off and flipping it flying out to second base. And I asked you this, and I really liked your answer, or at least your first question in response to it was, what's more important? Because you see a lot of guys focus on swing. You're seeing a lot of, like, you go to Instagram and you're seeing swing. It's all swing videos. Everything's about swing. But, like, how important is swing over, like, approach or concept of hitting? Because, like, I see my son, all I tell JD is, like, get barrel to it. Mm-hmm. I just show him, like, this is where we want to try to make contact, son. He's 4. I don't give a shit what a swing looks like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hit it hard and let's try to hit, that's where we want to try to make contact. Oh, like, what do you do with CJ? I mean,
Same thing.
Like, but your answer, when I asked you that, your first response is, well, it depends on what age. So get into that. Like, break that down a little, because I thought that was I didn't even think about it that way.
Well, swing and approach, like, to me, I wouldn't even talk about an approach until probably maybe good junior high or definitely high school. In Little League, you even see it in the Little League World Series. These kids have 1 or 2 pitches. What is really the approach? And not a lot of them are in the strike zone, really. Like, just swing, have a good swing, and try to hit it as hard as you can. That's what I would tell a kid in Little League is just put a good swing on it. You can't really talk about an approach with a 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old until you're getting to, even in junior high, it's really difficult because now they're on the big diamond for the first time. So now how hard are they throwing? How good is their secondary? You know what I mean? So a lot of times, you've coached TJ or even been, when we played junior high.
Yeah.
How many guys really had good stuff after a fastball? Not a lot of times. No. That were really good get me over stuff.
No.
So you're really sitting fastball even at that level. And then you get into high school, and now the good freshmen are on varsity. The good sophomores are on varsity. You know what I mean? So at the freshman JV level, you're still at the point where, hey, we're trying to put good swing on it and trying to put the ball in play and make something happen. And when we get to high school and the varsity level, then we have guys on the mound that have probably 1 to 2 good pitches, and then some that have 3 good pitches. So now you're really getting into an approach at that point is, look, this guy's got a good fastball and curveball and shows a changeup. We have to see what he's got early, then our approach from there. All right, he throws a good fastball. He's getting that over for strikes. Let's get on the fastball. Our approach is getting on the fastball. Let's lay off the off speed. You know what? He's getting that off speed over, for a first pitch. Then you change the approach. Let's try to sit off speed first pitch, and then we'll go to fastball. Or, you know what I mean? There's so many different approaches you can take depending on the pitcher. But I think at the little league level, you just want guys to have consistent swings and try to put the ball in play hard. You're not trying to have them hit fly balls. You're not trying to have them hit ground balls. You're not trying to have them hit line drives. You just want them to put a consistent swing and hit the ball as hard as they can. And wherever it goes, it goes. You can't control that. A 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old can't control his body the way Mike Trout controls his body, the way Aaron Judge controls his body, the way Bryce Harper controls his body. They can't do that. So why are we trying to cookie cutter a swing that won't even benefit these kids when they get into high school?
Well, it's going to become a habit that's not a good habit.
Exactly.
It's going to be harder to break that in 5 years. And so I guess, is swing more important at a younger age? And I don't mean swing like the shit we're seeing all over social media, but some idea of what kind of swing we want to have. What do we want to do with loading and hand? Maybe 3 or 4 key points to a kid's swing, just so they have something to base what they're trying to do on. Seeing a 9-year-old doing the dip and drive and the scap and all that nonsense, that's a waste of time. And
waste of time, waste of money.
Because that swing's not going to play in a few years.
No,
it may play at Little League when it's a lot of fastballs and But
even then, we're not seeing guys hit 20, 30 home runs in Little League.
No.
I hit 20 plus home runs in Little League, and I wasn't trying to hit home runs. Fortunate enough, I was just the big kid that can hit, and I was good at it. But I was also not trying to hit home runs. I was just I was always told, my dad, I was always told to try to hit the ball as hard as I can and hit it through somebody. Fortunate enough, I was big enough that the fence wasn't far enough. I hit it just through the fence. So, but we're not seeing home runs hit. We're not seeing guys hit a bunch of home runs. We're okay with hitting 1 to 2 home runs and strike and not being a good hitter. That's the problem. Let's just hit the ball. Let's hit the ball. Let's put in play, make something happen, and hit the ball hard as if we can. And I feel the easiest way for parents out there or coaches, not the hitting gurus, because you guys probably think I'm full of shit anyways and I don't know what I'm talking about. Just set up a T middle and try to hit the back of the net. Don't even worry about mechanics. Don't even say anything about mechanics. Just say, hey, just hit this ball in the back of the net. And your swing will actually do it yourself. It'll just drastically do it itself. When you're trying to aim and do something that you're trying to do, your swing will work itself out. You'd be surprised. And then once you see a kid be like, he's rolling over. Okay, let's change this up a little bit. Let's move it over and try to hit the ball that way. Now you'll start seeing them hit the ball center. You know what I mean? And they'll just make the adjustment on themselves. Then you start getting into, okay, then you take their hands slowly, go this way, here, stay through it, short, long. And then you take them about that slow. That's what I would do to a 10-year-old. I would take their hands and I would do the movement that you want as slow as possible so they feel it. Why? Because muscle memory is the key to a consistent swing. The more we do something, the more our muscles remember it. That way we can be consistent with it. So I would take it slow, all the way through so they can feel that. And I would just keep doing that over and over again. I don't even care if that was a 30-minute lesson where I'm just doing that and we don't even swing. Because I'm trying to create muscle memory, because that's all it is. That's all hitting is muscle memory. When you get the right swing, it's just doing it over and over again. All those big leaguers, they can do the same swing over and over again. That's why they're so good. They're consistent. And that's what I tell, you've heard me tell these guys, what's the difference between a high school hitter and a big league hitter? Consistency. That's all it is. That's all it is. Bryce Harper was a big league hitter in high school. Why? Because he was consistent with his swing. That's all it is. And these guys are like, well, they're in the big leagues. I'm in high school. Bryce Harper's 18 years old in the big leagues. Austin Riley's 23. I have guys that are that age at junior college. The dude's in the big leagues. Why? Because his swing is more consistent than you. Because he works at that.
And listen, let's be real. Some of these guys were just blessed, too.
You do. You have to be blessed with athleticism. But some guys work their butts off.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. A lot more.
But just because you're blessed doesn't mean you have to work at it.
Well, I've seen blessed guys not make it.
Yeah.
So, and I guess talking about kind of the era of things like where the kids want, they want it now, right? They want this and they want to get here and they kind of want to don't do what it takes to get there. Well, how can you appreciate it when you're there then?
Yeah.
It's hard to appreciate it. It's like you talk to a guy like Marcus, man. He doesn't take anything for granted.
No.
How long it took him to get to the show? If you ever run into that guy, talk to him about it.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best conversations you'll ever have. Mm-hmm. Hands down.
Yeah.
So because I was thinking about it, like what point is swing more important, or because I think it changes, and I think when you're young, I think like having the right idea of how you want your swing to be is more important than, like you said, approach, because there's not much, you're not seeing a lot of different things. Well, maybe you are now. I mean, maybe now you're seeing more off-speed stuff. The game's obviously different for the younger kids now than it was when we were younger.
But even like what I tell my college guys, right? Even at the junior college level that I'm at, there's not one guy on the mound that's going to go breaker, 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 see you later. There's not one guy that's just going to go 3 hammers, strike 3, sit down. Okay? The only guy that I've ever seen that could probably do that is Underwood. And right now we have a guy, Christian Williams from Buchanan at City. He might be able to do that. But he's consistent with it 3 times in a row. That's hard to do too as a pitcher. So why aren't we as a pitcher working on that? Throwing strikes.
Yes.
Why are we worried? Why are we worried about throwing hard? Because I'll tell you what, I wanted the dude throwing 95. You know why? Because I don't have to freaking think about it. I just have to swing, and you're supplying the power.
Well, you know what's coming. He's not going to fuck around with.
You know what guy sucks? The dude, when I got to pro ball, a guy throwing 88 to 85 with movement. That was so hard to hit.
And can locate everything else.
And locate. I can lay off this at 95. I'll take 95 all day. Okay? You ask any hitter in the big leagues, they'll take speed over location any day of the week. So why are we not, as pitchers, as hitters, why are we not trying to be better at that? Throw strikes. Throw strikes. Have good command. I was talking to some coaches over the break, and they didn't really ask me velocity. That was a question, but the next thing was, how is the command? How many walks did he have? That's what they want, people that throw strikes. How many of you guys play baseball, and when a guy's walking guys, it's boring as hell to play. Defense sucks. You're out there for forever. No, they want guys that can throw strikes, get guys out, and get to the next batter, get to the next inning. That's what everybody wants. So if you're out there trying to throw 90 miles an hour but can't throw strikes, you can absolutely do nothing for me as a coach. I don't need you. I'd rather have a guy throwing 80. We have a guy at City throws 80 to 85 and locates, and he was one of our best pitchers in the fall. And yeah, he came from a small school. Didn't even come from a big D1 school. He was one of our best pitchers. Why? Because he locates. That's all that matters when you go up to the next level, is locating, throwing strikes. That's what we need to get back to. Everybody's trying to hit 90 miles an hour. Everybody's trying to hit the exit velo of 100 miles an hour. Everybody's trying to do all this. But why are we not working on actually being good at throwing and being a pitcher?
Does are you going, you're not going to the plate like, man, I hope my exit velo's.
But your exit velo,
95.
like, okay, I just got a pocket radar, right? I've been wanting one forever because I do believe in exit velo and all that.
What I'm saying is you're not thinking about that.
No, you're not going to the plate.
Walking to the plate.
No.
Concerned about what my exit velo, or when you hit that ball, hey, what do you think nobody cares.
But sometimes your best exit velos are ground balls. Those are balls that are hit harder.
Like your video you sent me.
Yeah.
Of CJ.
Yeah. Because he hit it harder. He didn't get underneath it and the ball went up in the air. And that's what people don't understand is like, you even watch these videos and these guys are like, oh, my exit velo is 100. Look at where he hit the ball. Show me how many guys hit the ball in the air. Or when the JUCO Bandit does his thing against the net, that's a line drive about this high off the ground.
It's not a fly ball.
It's not a fly ball. So what are we doing? We're actually screwing these kids' heads up because we want to hit the ball in the air, but we want our exit velo to be high, so we want hit the ball low. So why are we not? That's where I like exit velo, because if we stay low, we create more velo off the bat with more backspin. So that's why I like it, because it's going to show these guys, look, you can hit a ball 80 miles per hour, it's going to be a flyout, or you can hit a ball 100 miles an hour, you're going to drive it through somebody and have an opportunity to get on base.
And it can still get out.
It can still get out.
Yeah, that one, and like I keep hearing, like, I know batting averages. I've heard people on the fence about the importance of batting average, and I do agree with it sometimes, because you're gonna have an 0 for 4 with 4 hard hit balls, and that's not gonna show up on your average. But batting average also tells me that you can hit a little bit too.
Yeah, when I'm sending guys trying to get guys off to the next level, is a Division I coach going to take a guy, say they have the same amount of home runs, the same amount of RBIs, but this guy bats 350 and this guy bats 230? And his this guy's on base percentage is
that automatically just tells me
this on base percentage.
That one guy strikes out a lot more than the other.
That's what I'm saying. So who am I going to take?
The guy that strikes out less. The guy that puts the ball in play more.
And gets on base.
Yeah, and gets on base.
Because if you're batting 2-something, your on base isn't 4-something.
No. They go hand in hand.
But if you're batting 350, your on base can be 4-something.
Unless you're like a Bonds who gets walked all the time.
But he still batted 3-something.
Yeah, no, he did. He still hit 300.
That's what I'm saying is like, that's why I hate when people are like, batting average doesn't matter. Yes, it does. It does matter. Batting average helps out your OPS. It helps out your on base. It helps out your not your batting average, your slugging. If you're batting 260, I bet your slugging's not more if you're batting 350. That's like people talk about Jake Gaywood and how many home runs he hit and all this. The dude batted 2-something. If the guy batted 310, or even if he batted 290, the dude's slugging, OPS, all that would have been way higher, and the dude would have got to the big leagues this year.
Easy. But
he batted close to 200. He was like 220 to 240. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. I don't have the facts. Did he hit a lot of home runs? Yes. He played in Utah. He played in a league that's a home run league. Okay? I'm not trying to take any of that away from him, but there's a reason why he didn't make it to the big leagues this year. Go look at the OPS. Go look on the on-base percentage. Go look at the strikeouts to walk ratio. How many strikeouts he was per his at-bats. Go look at that's all the stuff that these guys look at. You guys are only looking at home runs. Even his RBI totals weren't that much. That's what I'm saying. And I'm not taking anything away from Jake Gaywood. He's a great player and has a chance to be a big leaguer. But, please come hit with me for a day and I'll help you out. But
he was fun to watch in high school. I got to watch him play.
I watched him
in the
too.
Track. It was.
What I'm saying is,
no, but you
have to be a hitter.
Remove the one number. Like, the one number is not enough.
No, home runs are not enough.
I mean, I guess obviously, or else he would have been there.
Exactly. I mean, I think at one point he was leading the league in home runs. So, I mean, if that's what they want, he would have been in the big leagues. No, but they want a hitter. They want somebody that gets on base. They want somebody that drives in runs. Like, that's what it's about. So, yes, batting average is important.
Yeah, I mean, again, I do agree that there's sometimes it's not the end all be all. Of course not. Again, those 0 for 4s with 4 line drives aren't going to show up. But I mean, how many of those do you really have for it not to matter?
And you know as well as I do, and if you play long enough and you coach long enough, they all become even. All the hard hit balls for outs become a nubber over the third baseman's head or a bloop single that should have been an out. You know what I mean? It all works itself out. It's all even.
Yeah, I guess that you shouldn't take it into the mental side, right?
No.
You hit 4 hard balls and you go for 4. It's like, dude, I squared them up. Like, what?
You can go 4 for 4 with 4 shitty swings.
Yeah. 2 swinging bunts.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's beautiful about baseball.
Yeah. No, it's true.
And that's why it's stupid that we're trying to cookie cutter a swing. It's like, go be a complete hitter, man. I'm telling you, these scouts, you talk to Labby, he's not going to draft a guy that's batting 220 in high school.
No. It's not even come watch you.
They're not drafting guys in college that are batting 220. You can't hit. You can't hit at that level. How are you going to hit at my level?
Well, colleges are thinking the same thing.
I've always been told that you subtract 30 points off your batting average every level, right? And it actually made sense because in high school I batted 420, and then in college I batted 385 both years at JUCO, and then I batted 330 at Oral Roberts. Still put up power numbers, and then in pro ball I batted 276, but I hit home runs and I drove in almost an RBI per game that I played. So I did my job, I still batted 276. I know people are like, oh, that's pretty low, but for a power hitter nowadays, I'd be a freaking all-star.
You would be.
Right?
Yeah.
So take that. You guys are like, I'm good. Even if you bat 350 in high school, that you're not even batting close to 300 in college. Like, you should be under the 300 mark when you get the pro ball at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't hit 230 in high school.
You can't hit 230 in high school.
It's not going to get any easier.
Because I remember I hit 307 my junior year, and it was like a failure. And then people are like, you hit over 300. I'm in high school. Jason Donald just hit 560.
Yeah.
568 over there. Just turned down millions of dollars. Like, what do you mean? 307? Like, you need to be a hitter. People want hitters.
Yeah, average matters.
Average matters should be our next shirt.
Yeah, average matters. Like we said before, I'm not exactly sure how 2022 is going to roll as far as consistency.
I'm calling it now. The Rams are winning the state
The Rams,
title.
JUCO baseball is right around the corner. You guys starting a week.
We start the 10th. First game is the 28th at Skyline, and then the 30th at home.
I think Fresno State's alumni game is the 5th. I'm actually going to try to go to that before the Hall of Fame dinner. And then we'll see
what happens. You're not going
happens.
to go to City's doubleheader?
I'll try to do both. Yeah, it's a big day. It's probably be a busy day. High school baseball. Baseball is right around the corner. Major League Baseball, we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of money at stake. I'm sure they'll come to a deal.
You're sure?
I'm sure. And, we'll just have to wait and see. They're going to use spring training, I'm sure, as leverage, and just have to wait it out, and they'll figure it out. They're going to have to. Like you said, too much money at stake not to have something.
Yeah.
But I have some ideas for 2022. Again, when Chad's not able to do something, I'll try to figure something out. But we will continue in a little different capacity from time to time. But thanks to everybody for 2021. The downloads, the store stuff, just supporting what we do. We really appreciate it. It takes a lot of time to do this. And it was nice actually having a couple weeks off, though. I will admit that.
It's good family time.
But stay with us. More stuff to come. If you hadn't checked out the top 5 video, please do get the podcast on Spreaker, Spotify, iTunes. Go to subscribe on YouTube. Also iHeartRadio. Follow on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And that is episode 144, the Hit or Die podcast.
Hit or Die.